Hello everyone. Today's topic is database management system. For them who have already done my classes through Gmeet and have gone through the notes that I gave you in Google Classroom, this will be a revision class. But for them who have missed my classes or have not gone through the notes that I gave you, this will be a new topic. As you can see, it is written here session 1. So there will be other videos also on session 2, 3, 4, etc. So let's get started. There will be 3 topics discussed for this session: introduction of DBMS, primary and foreign key, and introduction of tables. Okay. Now, introduction of DBMS will include 2 topics, that is what is DBMS and why should you use DBMS to store our data. Primary and foreign key, these 2 are the basic pillars of any database management system, because whenever we store data, there should be some kind of primary key attached to that, and foreign key is used to refer that data afterwards. And introduction of tables is also important because we always store data in tabular form in any kind of DBMS. So today's class will be based on only theory portion, as those who have already done my class, they know first session will be theory portion only. From the next session I'll be showing you how to use MS Access. That is the software that we are going to use for our database management system. And in class I could not show you the live presentation, but for videos I'll be showing you that. What is database management system? In order to know this, we have to segregate this whole into 3 parts: data, database, and database management system. Okay, so first one is data. As you already know the definition of data and information since childhood, I'm not going to discuss it in details, and you have already read this in semester 3, I hope, in IT. But one thing I'm going to tell you, that data must be some facts that can be recorded. It should not be some any kind of abstract thinking that you are expecting something to happen in your future, etc. Okay, so I'm going to give you a very simple example. If you are recording the details of your customers, then the customers who have already bought something from your company will be recorded. The customers whom you are expecting to come and buy some goods from your company will not be recorded. That is an expectation. That is not real thing which is happening. Okay, so this is called data, that facts can be recorded. Now, database. Database is the collection of related data. Okay, now I'm going to give you the same example. If you're going to record the data regarding your customers, okay, or even regarding your employees. With that, if you record some data regarding India's GDP or pollution rate in India, like that, these are not related. So this cannot be part of your database. In database, the data must be related to each other. If you are writing something depending on the data which is related to customers, it should be related to the customers. All the type of data which you are storing in that particular database should be related to your customer, or related to your employee, or related to your goods which are manufactured by you. Whatever it is, that means it should be anything that you write in a database should be related to each other, so that you can have further analysis by referring it. Okay, and obviously it should be representing the aspects of the real world. As I told you, that data should be facts, right? So in database, obviously what you are storing data. That means there should be facts that you are storing in your database. Actually, database means a file, right? Whatever you want to store in that file, in file system you have already done, I think, in MS Excel or MS Word or PDF. You have stored some information, you have stored some data in that there. So in the same manner, we are going to store some data in database, and after that, whenever you require to analyze those data or use that data for any further decision making, we are going to use that. Okay, but the difference between this are many, so we are going to discuss all these things after this. Next, database management system is the software for storing and retrieving users data. Okay, so this is basically is a software. It is not manual to be done. So this is for storing and retrieving users data, and please be sure that this users data can be used by anyone else also. the user can give the permission to third party also to use this data, okay, from your database. And it is done while considering appropriate security measures. But if it is used by the third party also, then obviously there must be some security measures attached to it. The data should not be lost, the data should not be distorted. So those security measures are taken for this database management system, which is very important and which is very strong as compared to any other forms of storing data. Now we need to know why should you use DBMS over other forms of storing and retrieving data. Okay, so first let me tell you what are the other forms of storing and retrieving data that you can use. Actually, we have been using in our daily lives all these things, but maybe we have never noticed it. First, think about the days when you used to do offline classes. What did you do at that time? You had your copy and pen. During the classes, whenever the teacher used to give some notes and teacher used to write something on the board, you had to note them down on your copy with your pen, isn't it? So after you go home at the time of exam, maybe you just open that copy and read out those notes which you have been writing during the classes. Okay, so that is a type of manual storing of data and retrieving data. Next, just think about if you had missed any class at that time. What did you do? You had to take the photocopy of the notes which were taken by your friends, or you may ask, you had maybe asked the teacher to give you some notes from the books, and teacher used to give the books to you for photocopying. So you needed some machines to help you in preparing these notes. So that is semi-automated. Okay, you had to store them, store that Xerox copies in a file or folder that is easily available in the market, and after that at home, maybe at the time of examination, you had to study that. Okay, next, now what we are doing in the online classes, we are going to conduct the normal classes, and after that we are going to give you some notes every day. So what kind of notes you are getting? Electronically saved notes. That means either it is in the form of MS Word or it is in the form of PDF. So that is electronically saved and given to you, and you are getting the soft copy of that, and at the time of exam you are just opening that file and reading that. Okay, this is called automated system, but this is called as file system of storing and retrieving data. Now apart from this, you have DBMS. So why should you use DBMS, not any other types of storage? Because it has got certain advantage that they do not have. Okay, some of the advantages are already they are having, obviously, but there are some advantages out of this which they are not having. So we should prefer DBMS over other forms of storing and retrieving data. Okay, now first one is sharing of data. In this scenario, means in this period where we are obviously facing this corona and all, you know that it is not possible always to travel to somewhere or meet some people while we need to meet them. So what do? We do some video conferencing or call conference like that. So let us have an example of a situation where um, a company is there where the two managers, HRM and sales manager, these two persons are residing in two different parts of India. Okay, one is sitting in Kolkata and the other is sitting in Mumbai. Now they cannot travel and meet each other, so they must be meeting virtually to take a decision on the performance evaluation or who will get a promotion this year for the employees. Okay. Now, what will they have? They will have the data regarding sales to judge the performance and the employee details to judge their details like experience and all, okay, or roles and responsibilities which are given to them, etc. So they need two types of data. They are two different managers from two different departments sitting into different places. but they need to brainstorm to take a decision. Okay, so what will they do? They will access the database simultaneously together at the same time to know what exactly is stored in the database regarding the sales details as well as employee details. Okay, so that is possible with the help of this DBMS. Next, reducing data redundancy. It means reducing the duplication of work. Okay, now please come to this example where I told you that we provide you the notes which are done in the classes on Google Classroom, right? So how do you provide those notes? We first, if we want to provide a PDF file, at least for me, what I do, I type the notes in Word, MS Word, and then convert it into PDF file. But generally, I don't erase the MS Word file. I keep both of them in my system. Okay, so what am I doing? I'm duplicating my own work. I'm first typing in MS Word, then converting it into PDF, and then giving the notes as PDF to you. But still, in my system, there are two things which are stored, isn't it? So in that case, there is duplication of work in file system. But in DBMS, it is not possible. I'm going to tell you why, but not now, after this. Okay. Next one, data consistency. Since it is not duplicated, obviously one data is stored only once and it should be accurate. It is obviously be accurate because it is not distorted due to the various security measures it has. The data is consistent for all. That means I was talking about the managers sitting into different parts of the country. If they want to access the same data in the database, they are getting the same result. It is not that some portion is distorted for one of them and some portion is true or correct for one of them. Okay. Another thing you should understand that in file system what happens, I don't know whether you have used this conversion of MS Excel file to PDF, or you have copied and pasted these tables from MS Excel to MS Word. I don't know whether you have tried this, but I have tried and I have seen one thing, that sometimes the tables are distorted. The format of the table is changed, and at that time we have to do the formatting again to restore what exactly we want to save. Okay, so in that case, if we don't think about that, if you don't bother about that and we simply convert the files into different forms, then some data must can be lost. Okay, so that is not possible in case of DBMS. We don't have to take any precaution at that time in for storing anything in DBMS, because in DBMS I already told you that one information is stored only once, so there is data consistency and obviously accuracy in data. Next, data security. Obviously, I told you that for a company, if they are using this database management system, the data must be very important for them, vital. So they should not be doing something which may cause any loss of data or distortion of data. So in that case, this security measures which are taken by DBMS is very strong. Next, data integrity. Integrity means accuracy. So as I told you that whenever we store some data in DBMS, the data that we store originally is shown to every people who are accessing this database. It is not distorted anywhere. As I've already told you about conversion and all in file system, the data may get lost, the data may get distorted. Some of them may be clubbed together so that we cannot understand what is happening in the tables and all. But in case of DBMS, obviously it is not possible. And in case of manual storage and semi-automated also, you can understand this, that some portion may get lost, some data that we normally store. But in case of DBMS, it is not possible. So that is a major advantage over other forms of storing and retrieving data. Privacy. Okay. Now, as I was talking about this data security, it means that obviously the data security measures are there, which is unique for this DBMS so that the data is never lost Okay, but what about privacy? It is quite related to that. But one thing I'm going to tell you as an example, like if your company has very important information or data stored in the database, now you want any third party to access that database. Say for example, any researcher wants to research um, on the performance of your company. Now, if you want to permit that person to take a look in your database, you may not permit that person to have access to all parts of database. It may be possible that he is doing a research on your profit. So obviously anything related to profit will be, the information will be given to him. Or he may access to the database to only those portion of the um database which is related to profit. He will not get anything to know about your employees or anything about your customers and all that. Okay, so that is called maintaining privacy. And obviously, the security measures will be so strong by using this ID, password, etc., that no one can break that. Okay. Next, backup and recovery. So obviously, as you can understand, if the data is lost, the company will be in risk. Okay, so the company cannot afford to take that risk. So that means there will be a very strong method of taking the backup and recover the data if something is lost anywhere. Now we'll discuss the keys in database management system. While I was showing the topics to be covered today, I told you that there are two basic pillars of database management system. One is primary key, another is foreign key. Okay, so what is primary key? It is the unique identification number. Just like the identification number you have on your Aadhaar card, I hope all of you have. If you have got a PAN card, you can see there, you can have a look at your voter ID card. There also you have got some numbers, and those numbers are unique to you only. Those cannot be allotted to any other person in this country, right? So in the same manner, in DBMS also, every piece of data is stored with a unique identification number which is not to be repeated. Okay, that is why these advantages are there, like data integrity or lack of redundancy in work, because the computer or the database management system will not allow us to store same piece of information twice, as it is storing them with a unique identification number. It will automatically detect that this piece of information has already been stored. Okay, now if the information or data is stored with a unique identification number as auto generated, that means you can either make it auto generated, which the computer will select on its own the numbers, or it can be manually done. If it is auto generated, it will be incremental in nature. That means it will go forward 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. It will never come backward. Okay, but in some situation you need to have it manually done. I'm going to give you the example of the email account that is provided to you by the college. As you can see in your email account, not only just the names are written, but also your roll number along with your section names are written. Why is it so? Because we have seen that some students are there who are having same names in different sections, and it may happen that same named students are there in different section with same roll numbers. Like roll number 1 of section A is named as Vikram, and roll number 1 of section B is also known as Vikram. So what will you do? If you store them with a number which is auto generated section wise, obviously same name will be stored twice with same identification number, that is 1, because that is your roll number. So we cannot afford that in DBMS. So what we should do, we should add the section name as well, like A1, B1, like that, so that you can understand the difference between these two persons. Their name can be same, their roll numbers can be same, but they have got different sections. Okay, so in that case we can, means we have to do this manually. Unique identification number will not be auto generated. In the same manner, in case of your company, employees can be with different with under different sections or different departments. The employees can have same names, same employee ID, but obviously there will be difference in departments. So you will have to differentiate between them with the help of these departments. In that case, it is preferred that you may not have this auto-generated ID. It should be manually written by you. But remember one thing, you cannot repeat the same number again, the same thing again. Okay? Now I'm going to give you the examples where you may have this primary key in your database. This is one of the examples. Actually, whatever you store in database management system, as I told you, will be in tabular form. And in each table, there will be a column mentioned as ID. It can be renamed obviously, which is the unique identification number or primary key. So whenever you store a data in anywhere in the database, in any table, there will be a primary key attached to that. Okay, now here I have made this with auto generated one, that is 1 2 3 4 5. These are all auto generated, and these names of the customers are stored. So you can understand, if I'm talking about Mr. A, the computer will understand as 1. If I'm talking about Mrs. A, the computer will understand as 3. Okay. Now, another example can be like names of the items. If I'm going to store the names of the items which are available in my store, I can get that with the help of primary key. If I'm talking about rice, it is 3. If I'm talking about flour, it is 4, like that. Now, if I want to see which customer has bought which item, then I must refer to these tables together, isn't it? If I want to see that what has Mr. A bought, Mr. A can buy soap, Mr. A can buy rice, Mr. A can buy detergent, anything like that. Or I want to see who has bought rice. The rice can be bought by A, B, Mrs. A, Mrs. B, like that. Okay. So I want to make a relation between these two tables to understand what is bought by whom. Okay. So there comes the importance of foreign key. This is called referencing key. Actually, where we store the raw data without foreign key, only the primary key is available and the raw data is available. These are called master tables. Okay. And the table where we use foreign keys is known as transaction tables. Okay. Now, this table number 3 is transaction table, and I have shown here which item is bought by whom. Okay. So this must be having the names of the customers, names of the items. Now you can see another column is there which is known as primary key, unique identification number. So as I told you, these names of the customers and names of the items are stored with primary keys. But now I want to store another type of information. Now the information is regarding which item is bought by whom. This is a new thing. So that must have another unique identification number. Okay. Now, under names of the customer, it is written 1. That means it is referring to customer Mr. A. And under names of the items, just beside 1, it is written as 3. It means the names of the item is rice. Okay. So now from here we can understand Mr. A has bought rice. What has Mr. B bought? Mr. B was 2. So I'm going to search it here. Names of the customer 2. He has bought number 5. That means detergent. So Mr. B has bought detergent. I can see this table and understand from here. I would, do you remember you had done this match the following column in your childhood? There were 2 ways you could do that. One by drawing lines, another by writing the correct option, right? So here we are writing that one. The correct options is written. Okay. Now, this table is called transaction table because we are referencing something here from any other table, and from where we are referencing that those tables are known as master tables. Okay, so whenever we are taking the reference from master tables to form a transaction table, that particular information, that particular ID is known as foreign key here. And where from we are taking it which was stored as primary key in the master table. So you can understand from this, the primary key of master table will become foreign key of transaction table. Okay. And another thing is there, that whenever we are going to repeat any purchase. Like Mr. A has bought rice, Mr. A has bought detergent also. Then we need to write 1 here as Mr. A and then 5 here as items. Okay, that is detergent. It can be repeated. So one thing, please be assured that primary key can never repeat. As I told you, it is unique identification number, but foreign key can be repeated. Because it may happen that Mr. E is buying all these items, or it may happen that sanitizer is being bought by all the persons over here. Okay, so again, this type of things will be repeated. It is possible, but this unique identification number cannot be repeated. So for today's class, there are two types of tables which are discussed. Okay, number one is master table, another one is transaction table. And under master table, as you already know, we are going to store the raw data with some unique identification number. There are two tables which are shown as example for today's class. Table number 1, which has stored the data regarding the names of the customers. Another one is table number 2, which stored the data regarding the names of the items which are available in our store. And for transaction table, it was table number 3, where we stored the information regarding which customer has bought which item from our store. Thank you for your patient hearing. I hope you will go through the notes that I have already given in the Google Classroom so that you can understand today's class in a more detailed manner.